Welcome. Today we are going to do an unboxing of the game DarkMoon. Let's look at this box. It's a game for 3 to 7 players, which is a little bit unusual. Takes about an hour and a half maybe to play the game. Let's look at this front cover. It is quite, again, evocative. You can see there a person looking with a bit of trepidation, terror, uncertainty from a space suit. So a space theme for this. It's by Stronghold Games. I could just bring that up so you can see that a little bit closer. Let's have a look at the sides now, what we get here. So side 1 is written that way with DarkMoon. We get a picture there, some people with some guns. The next side, again, written in the same direction. A person sitting down. Side 3 is everything in the box makes a bit of noise as I turn it. Some sort of person, cap on. I'd kind of say a sergeant, but we don't know that for certain. And finally, the fourth side, 2 people talking to each other, making a decision about something. Let's look at the base. The base, we've got Welcome to DarkMoon, a bit of a blurb, just a background about the game, and then more of the game play, how you play the game. You can see there. As I said, it is a game for 3 to 7 players, which is quite unique in the gaming world. There are the components that we get in there, and that looks like the boards that we get and some of the tokens as well. The designers obviously thought it comes with 29 custom dice, big selling point for them. For me, not as much. I'm more interested in the gameplay and the look of the artwork, but everyone is different. That's just me. Let's open up the box by slipping my knife down the sides and then taking off the back plastic. We'll flip that one over, lift the top off. Oops, underneath side, just normal cardboard. Now let's look at, put that way off to one side, the things that we get in the box. Starting off with Welcome to DarkMoon. So this looks like a rule book, I'm going to say. It doesn't say it that I can see here. There we go. So I like the way they've done this. Gives that thematic feel. Obviously, you're privy to some documents, and that's what this is about. We've got a blood-stained paw print from someone's hand that's there, and a handwritten letter that is there. It gives you some background. I wonder how many people actually read that. I love reading that sort of stuff, though. Inside, we have an overview, the component list, how to win. So an uninfected victory and an infected victory. You can see the components that we have there. So we have player screens. So one of those games where you need screens to slightly hold some of the things you have, or that's what the designer felt was needed to play the game. Lots of different dice and tokens that you can see there. The setup, continuing the feel, you can see there it's been dynamoed and then put on the page. We've got some rivets down the side there. So that is the setup. And it's got different setups actually down the bottom there. 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 player game. So it's good that they've kept that nice and bold so you can see that easily. Playing the game, the turn order, retrieve the dice, perform an action. There's an example for repairing, a voting example that's there. Choose a task card, resolve task, malfunction task example that's there, and testing the shield. I have no idea what any of this means, but it sounds interesting. Add an event cube, complete the event, select a new event, advanced suspicion cube, hold a vote. So there's going to be player interaction there. I like that in games. The final event, the quarantine and fatigue, becoming quarantined is written there. Sabotage example, so a lot to think of, I think, in this game. A big, hefty game. I'm sure it is fairly easy to play. It's probably got slightly higher than moderate difficulty level in terms of gameplay. I would suggest just reading this book. Die limits, changing commanders. We have uninfected players and infected players. Variant rules, card notes, event cards, so more notes on the different cards, task cards and character cards. And finally, the credits at the back with, again, that bloodied hand going down the side. Okay, what do we have here? We have a couple of tokens that have already fallen out, even though this was in shrink wrap. So let's have a look at these, seeing they are presenting themselves. There's one Chava Bessa on the back. Oops. Chava Bessa on the back there. Too close to the screen. There we go. So like a heart indicator, first aid there. We can see how some of these have already punched themselves out there. I'm going to flip them into there. We have the game board. DarkMoon. Let's have a look at this. And here another couple of things dropping into the box, which is good, rather than on the floor. So we have camera 1, camera 2, camera 3, camera 4. We have shield control, outpost status, life support. This is a nice thick card. DarkMoon, very thematic. I do like it. Discard pile, a current task pile down the bottom here. Vote, we vote down here. Spent resources and available resources there, as well as critical fatigue. Flipping that over, we've just got darkness on the reverse side. So I'll fold that one back up, put that on that side. So these are, again, another token that's come off. So a nice little bit of paper just to hold these together. Wondering if I can slip that off easily. And I can do that. There we go. So we have, so on the inside tells you a little bit about things you need. So it's infected. Infected, we have 1, 2, 3 of those. And then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 player boards, obviously. So the players get Ops Manager, Shield Tech, Mechanic, Psychologist, Doctor, Recon, and Hazard. Let's turn these over, have a look at each, because I think they are slightly different. So I'm going to say asymmetric or not. No, actually I think it does look like all of them are the same. Although, you can see here with Daniel, you can never become fatigued. So Daniel, Hazard Tech, Luba Zelenziek, Recon. Once on your turn, you may re-roll your dice. So everyone has their own specific thing that they can do, which will affect each game if you don't have a full contingent of these players. So 7 is probably ideal to have the best game, I would think. Okay, so there's the reverse side of Daniel. Let's have a look at the Recon there of Luba. Once on your turn, you may re-roll your dice rather than submit a die. The Doctor, after attempting to repair life support, retrieve 1 of those. The Psychologist, when drawing task cards, draw 3, discard 2, and reveal 1. The Mechanic, Enver, after attempting to repair the outpost, retrieve 1 of those. The Shield Tech, Steve, after attempting to repair shield control, retrieve 1 of those. And the Ops Manager. So John, when passing, retrieve 1 additional of those square markers. And the rest is all the same, so you can pause that. Okay, the Infected, we'll just have a quick look at the reverse side of the Infected. There we go. Nicely in view for you. Again, you can pause that to read all of the bits and bobs which are there. Okay, so as you can see here, this punch board has self-punched. I don't know if that's something new that they're including in a lot of designs these days, but it has happened with this board, DarkMoon. Let's have a look at that side there, and then we'll flip that over carefully as nothing falls out. That was interesting. There we go. We've got Hangar, we've got Research Lab, Communications Life Support, showing down there. So there are some of the tiles that you get, or tokens that you can get, and there they are there that have fallen out. I'm going to put those 2 there so we can just see some of these others. Let's have a look at this one. Command 1 less die when passing. So that's what that side looks. Quarantine. Same on that side. Quarantine again. We have these. We have an innie and an outie, as they say. Quarantine again. This one is a shield control. And we have sabotage. Both sides there on that. And we've seen some of these before already. Okay, let's chuck those back in so we don't forget. We have what looks like ordinary-ish cubes. Blue cubes, a black cube and a red cube. The blue cubes are slightly smaller, although that blue cube there is the same size as the black and the red, so they'll go in specific places on the board, no doubt. Here are custom dice, which the designers really wanted to sell the game on. We can see there's a blue one in the middle, in amongst all the red and black die. So pretty standard die. Rounded edges, and they are wooden as well. You can see that, and I can feel that. Finally, the cards that we get here. Again, I can just see a little hint of a strip going around, which means I've got to find where it opens. You can see that right there. Coming around. That allows us to take both bits of plastic off. And we have a set of event cards with a grey back. A final event with a yellow back. Status, red cards. These, which almost look like cheat sheets maybe. One for each player when you're fatigued. Task. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't think that corresponds with the number of players though. So black task cards. Some of these task cards, well actually, I see, so that'd be for 3, 5 and 7 players, that'd be for 4 and 6 players. So obviously refers to, I think, whether you have an odd or even number of players by the looks of it. And it looks like you wouldn't want to play with any less than 3 players anyway. And it did say 3 to 7 players on the actual game. Let's have a look at the event cards. We have tactical prep, salvage parts, repair tools, recovery, reboot shields, jerry-rig shields. And we can see there place to put those cubes, I think. Resupply, blood testing, pass command, rescue crewman, system crash, divert power, restore comm, food rationing, system reboot, and lockdown. Looking at our yellow cards, which are our final events. Protect self-destruct codes. Blackout. Find cure. Await rescue. Escape. And last stand. I like the fact they've got different pictures on all of these as well. We have our red status cards. You are uninfected. 2 of those, 3, 4 of those, you are infected. 1, 2, 3 of those, so 4 and 3. I'm not too sure whether you need to keep those secret or not when you get them. We now have our green cards. Commander Handbook of Rules and Responsibility. So obviously the commander gets that one. Is that the same on both sides? It looks the same on both sides to me. We have You Are Fatigued for Daniel. You Are Fatigued for Steve. You Are Fatigued for... So I was just reading the back as I paused there, for Luba. Another one for Chaya. You Are Fatigued for Michihiro. You Are Fatigued for Enver, and You Are Fatigued for John. It looks like every person will get one of those. We have our black task cards. Remember they were for, and I'll show you, bring it up, show you in a moment, for the even number of players we can see there. Turning them over, act of trust. 1, 2 of those, mandatory quarantine. 1 of those, failure to lead, voluntary blood testing, acceptable loss, strategic compromise. We have these, life support malfunction, difficulty 8, consequence 1, difficulty 6, 6 and 2, we have 7 and 3, 9 and 2, 7 and 1, 5 and 2, 6 and 3, 8 and 2, 7 and 2, 9 and 1, 8 and 3, 10 and 2, 8 and 2, and 10 and 1. So they were the black task cards. And finally, as my voice starts to give out, we have the task cards for an odd number of players, either 3, 5, or 7. We have Act of Trust, 2 of those, Mandatory Quarantine, Failure to Lead, Voluntary Blood Testing, Acceptable Loss, Strategic Compromise. Now we have Life Support Malfunction cards with Difficulty and Consequence. So we have the 6-1, the 4-2, the 5-3, 7-2, 5-1, 3-2, 4-3. Now we've got still Outpost Malfunction, 6 and 2, a Shield Malfunction, 5 and 2, 7 and 1, 6 and 3, 8 and 2, Question Mark Malfunction, 6 and 2, and 8 and 1. So I didn't quite read those out correctly because I didn't notice the top change there. So Life Support Malfunction, we have 6 and 1, 4 and 2, 5 and 3, 7 and 2. We have the Outpost Malfunction, 5 and 1, 3 and 2, 4 and 3, 6 and 2. We have the Shield Malfunction, 5 and 2, 7 and 1, 6 and 3, and 8 and 2. The Question Mark Malfunction, 6 and 2, and 8 and 1. I'm going to go back just quickly to go back to the task just to check these properly as well. So we have Life Support Malfunction for the black cards, 8 and 1, 6 and 2, 7, 3, 9, 2. The Outpost Malfunction was 7, 1, 5 and 2, 6 and 3, 8 and 2. The Shield Malfunction was 7, 2, 9, 1, 8 and 3, and 10 and 2. Question Mark Malfunction, 8 and 2, and 10 and 1. Just want to do that properly. That's just what I like to do to make sure that I haven't missed anything, just in case you're listening, rather than watching it just as well, or instead of just listening to it. So that is everything you get in the box. This is the unboxing of DarkMoon. There it is, DarkMoon. We can see there. Thank you very much for joining me. If you did like it, please hit the like button. Also subscribe and share with your friends. Enjoy your gaming. As always, my name is LeMonde, signing off. Thanks for joining me.